वोटिंग हुई है और इसमें सभी लोगों ने, चाहे कोई जात के हो, कोई धर्म के हो, चाहे जो बिहार के लोग जो दूसरे राज्यों में काम कर रहे हैं, जो लोग भी बिहार लौटे, सभी लोगों ने जो है महागठबंधन इंडिया अलायंस के पक्ष में वोट किया, बदलाव के लिए जो है वोट किया है। तो हम लोग एकदम कंफर्टेबली क्लियर मेजॉरिटी के साथ कल जो है चुनाव जीत रहे हैं और हमारे कार्यकर्ता जो है लगातार मुस्तैदी के साथ काउंटिंग सेंटर पे मुस्तैद हैं, चौकन्ने हैं और कहीं भी अगर प्रशासन के लोगों ने 2020 वाली गलती अगर वो करेंगे या कोई अपना लिमिट क्रॉस करेगा, गैर संवैधानिक काम करेगा, अन्याय करेगा, किसी के इशारे पे अगर कोई अधिकारी अगर काम करेंगे तो जनता एक पांव पे खड़ी है, करारा जवाब जो है जनता देगी। जो ईमानदारी से काम करेगा उनको कोई डरने की आवश्यकता नहीं है, लेकिन कोई किसी के इशारे पे अगर काम करे तो उसको सोचना चाहिए कि वो गलत करता है। पिछले बार भी किन लोगों ने क्या क्या किया था हम लोग सब लोग जानते हैं, हम लोग को सब कुछ याद है। इस बार तमाम अधिकारियों से हम यही कहेंगे कि निष्पक्ष रूप से आप सब लोग जो है काउंटिंग कराएं, जो जनता ने मत दिया है उनके साथ जो है लोगों को न्याय करना चाहिए।
So Tejashwi, is it just setting it up for election denial? That's one part. The other thing is, if the last time the margins looked quite close, if this is a runaway victory either side, will there be any cause for disruption? Or are the RJD saying, if we lose, we will take to the streets and we'll create mayhem? We'll have to wait and watch who conducts themselves responsibly and who doesn't, viewers. Short break and we'll be right back.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
आन बान शान या के जान का हुदान आके एक धनुष के बान पे उतार दो. That's what all the candidates have done. They've given it their all, viewers. They've given it their all, and what they want to do now is to perhaps sit back and can hope that their efforts pay, and the voter, the janta, actually is convinced by what they had to offer. Who was the most convincing? Who do they trust? Who do they believe can give them the freedom to step out late in the evening after a long day at work, be it male or female? Who is it that who can give them jobs, because unemployment is a core issue? Who is it who can solve the problems of displacement due to bad or floods? These are all questions that remain. Our guests are getting seated. Let's quickly signpost some of the important facets. First up, 7.42 crore voters across 243 assembly seats, of which about 15 lakh are first-time voters, 18 to 19 years. It's a historic 67% turnout across the two phases. This never happened. Even in the base of absolute numbers, it's perhaps one of the best turnouts, voter turnouts. And what does that indicate? But even then, about 33% of the voter did not come out to vote. Keep that in mind. It's a battle of two alliances. The 2020 scorecard points to the NDA, which had 125, just past the post. Indi Gathbandhan was at 110, really breathing down on the neck. This time around, the exit polls are saying, well, it will be Nitish Babu standing tall, riding off the entire PK factor altogether. The Simanchal region and the SIR impact will be in focus too. 97 seats with the migrant vote factor. How will they vote? Did they stay back after Deepavali and Chhath? We have to watch. There was a significant up in the turnout in phase 2, mind you, where the Simachal region was covered. Women voters outnumbered the male voters by 10%. The Jivika Didis, do they hold a key factor? Is it the women who will come back and tell you that no, we trust Sushashan Babu because right through the last 2 decades, he has done more for women than anybody else we thought would? Or will it be the Yuva, about 40% of the voters this time around plus, who would say, no, we've not seen a Raj outside of Nitish Babu as Chief Minister. Let's look at something beyond Nitish. Will they do that? Or will they say, why fix something that ain't broken? Let's go straight across. Let's go straight across to our reporters, Pallavi Ghosh, Payal Mehta, joining us from ground in a good early morning. Ladies, what's the mood? What's the mood? There you go. We've also got Arun Danta joining us. Looking bright and early and fresh. You're not great. If you're morning people, you're all right. That's what it looks like. Pallavi Ghosh, what's that smile all about? Payal Mehta is all jacketed up. Are you there somewhere around the BJP offices, Payal? Let me start with Pallavi and then I'll come to you, Payal. Arun is somewhere which it looks like the RJD hold. Yeah, Pallavi.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Tejashwi Yadav residence. You can see the laltain or the lantern right behind me. Not glowing as of now, but I guess Tejashwi Yadav is going to wait to see whether it's glowing. I'm just going to give you a sense of where I am at this point of time. Okay. Across the wall is Nitish Kumar, that's the CM's residence. You can see already these posters have been put up. Bharat Varsh ke hone wale sabse yuva Mukhyamantri ko janmdin ki hardik badhai. He did celebrate his birthday a couple of days back. But you know, this is a do or die election, I would say, as far as Tejashwi Yadav is concerned. Will he be able to hop over from this residence to that part of the residence? He certainly has been running a very high-pitched, aggressive campaign. I think, Anand, if there's something which can pull him down, it is the Congress party, a very lackluster campaign. They have been the boj on the Mahabadbandhan, but more importantly, that bandhan within the Mahabadbandhan has also been lacking. But for Tejashwi Yadav, this is an opportunity twofold very quickly, because before I come back to you, one of course is, will he finally break away from the legacy of his father? Remember, the entire election has been structured in such a manner where the BJP, the Prime Minister have always made the point that a return of Tejashwi Raj will in effect be a Lalu or Jungle Raj. Can he break away from the mold of his father and say and convince the voters कि मैं अपना बाप का बेटा तो हूँ लेकिन मैं वो नहीं हूँ? That's one. Second is that what is his political future then? Will it mar and scar the India bloc and Mahagathbandhan? Should the Congress party pull down the numbers for
The first leads in just about 84 minutes and 10 viewers. Here it's result day live. Bihar has gone to the ballot and Bihar has voted like never before with a revised voter roll and a whole host of voters. Nearly 40 to 45% of the voters, if my memory serves me right, and the experts here can bear us out on the fact that they have never seen beyond Nitish Raj. They were born or they started voting when Nitish was Chief Minister, and today they have come to vote again at when Nitish is Chief Minister. Is there a leadership transition that we are seeing? Is there going to be an arresting of the ballot if the ballot is not in your favor? Is what the RJD trying to do to flex muscle to send 20,000 people of its cadre to all these counting centers? Is this all fair? Is this all good?
Well, I think Anand,
isn't this unnecessary muscle flex?
Anand, our democratic credentials are very strong. I think whatever RJD is also there in within the four walls of so to say the parliamentary democracy. I don't see anything extraordinary happening. We are reading too much into from a poster. And as I said, right to assemble is a democratic right unless it is denied by the local administration. I think everything will be fine.
No, right to assemble when with posters that say Savdhan. With someone, Priyam Gandhi Modi, is this signs of a loser or is it signs of a winner?
No. This is preparing to lose, right? Like, so in case the numbers are not as per what the party cadres want them to be, these are preparatory signs to cause some commotion and chaos.
But what is he that he is talking about 2020? What is he saying that those are 20 में जो आपने किया वापस नहीं कर रहे?
Well, the RJD feels that in 2020 it fought a very good election. It was the largest party with 75 seats, but it could not cross the mark, I think, due to the Congress party, which won only 19 out of the 70 seats it contested, with the poorest strike rate in Bihar. So RJD, in fact, was, I think, robbed of a win, not by the BJP or the JDU, but by the Congress party, its own ally. See, Anand, I think in this election, there's always a turning point in an election. I think the turning point, for the RJD was 3 months back, when that whole that businessman's murder happened right outside Gandhi Maidan. Tejashwi Yadav mounted this campaign against Nitish Kumar, saying the law and order is same, the jungle raj is the same as maybe you accuse us of. They kept up at that campaign before Rahul Gandhi arrived in Bihar and turned the campaign around totally to the SIR issue. I think in Bihar, if you have to defeat Nitish Kumar after him being CM for almost 20 years, you have to portray, and at least you have to make the people believe that the jungle raj is there in Nitish Kumar's rule as well. RJD very clearly knows that the jungle raj, is there on their, is a mark on them, and that is why you see Lalu Yadav has not been on any poster of RJD. It's just been Tejashwi Yadav. In fact, at the RJD office, you don't see a Lalu Yadav poster. But now you see it today.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Because the core RJD voter, I must tell you, Anand, if you go to the ground in Bihar, the core RJD voter still is a Lalu loyalist.
And this is all Lalu ka beta. This is all Lalu ka beta, and Tej Pratap is also coming out and saying Lalu ka beta, viewers. And the important part in this whole story is the Anand Singh matter. What happened in Mokama? The JDU, did they quickly allow the arrest to happen for him to be sent to judicial custody so that there is no mahal created about law and order again? So those two things, the businessman's murder and what happened with Anand Singh in Mokama. Let's quickly now try and understand what is at stake in terms of a referendum on Nitish Kumar's 20 years of Sushasan. Because he is the incumbent, he has switched ranks, he's been called Palturam in the past, but he continues to remain one of the strongest faces and the most trusted faces in Bihar, irrespective of what anybody talks about his health, his ability, his faculties, etc. Now, it's another test of this entire turning anti-incumbency tide. First electoral test for the NDA after Operation Sindoor. And it's also the verdict on the NDA's Vikas model versus the opposition's jobs promise. But more importantly, do you or do you not think, Nalin, this is also perhaps going to test or show to the world that the BJP can work in an alliance? The BJP can work as the weaker or the number 2 partner.
So, well, last time the BJP ended up getting many more seats than the JDU. But I think, look, the question mark on the BJP has always been, allies have always been worried about the fact that will the BJP eventually gobble them up, right? Yeah. So you've seen what's happened in Maharashtra. You've even seen so the regional parties are generally always very apprehensive about this, because the BJP poses an existential threat to many regional parties, because as they dissipate beyond their original founders, they either have a good succession, or eventually the polity is moving towards national parties, and where the BJP, in the absence of a strong Congress, is kind of encroaching on their turf. So therefore this election, to my mind, is as existential for the RJD as it's a very existential one for RJD, because they lost the last election. They fought a very important, very strong campaign. They almost won. And I think Tejashwi ran a very good campaign last time.
Yeah.
So this time, if they lose again, the RJD has not been barring the interim with Nitish. So in fact, that's what I said. Otherwise, the RJD would not have been in power for 20 years.
That's something which I'm trying to understand. Last time around, Tejashwi ran a fantastic campaign. There was some momentum there. There was also a certain level of angst against Nitish. Plus, Chirag Paswan was drumming up the anti-Nitish sentiment further within the NDA ranks itself, saying that I am Hanuman to Modi ji, but Nitish teri khair nahi. Modi tujhse bair nahi, Nitish teri khair nahi. He was going up. And that perhaps weakened Nitish on the JDU in the first phase. Then immediately when they realized, it swung all the way towards the RJD, did the NDA course correct and then come back and then ask Chirag to pipe down, and 2 and 3 they somehow recovered, if the numbers can back that up. But this time around, that's not there. So has the RJD been as good as 2020, or were they a shade
There's no
lesser?
Clear anti-incumbency this time against at least Nitish or Modi. If BJP actually if we see NDA losing seats, that would probably be because of local candidates, not the main government, not the main heads of government. So there is nothing. I mean, if we have reporters on the ground, we have been having them for a long time. The other channels I've been watching, but nobody has really picked up a very strong anti-incumbency sentiment, unless there is something completely under the
from
water.
Raghopur, a local guy just walks up to Arun Singh on News 18 India and he says कि वो पुलिया बनाया है, इतने साल से यहाँ थे, कौन पुलिया बनाया? और वो उधर देखिए मेरा पड़ोसी का बच्चा का जान बच गया, 1.5 घंटे में अस्पताल पहुंच गए, पहले 6-7 घंटा लगता था, घूम के जाना पड़ता था, पूर्णिया में एयरपोर्ट, पटना में एयरपोर्ट. People are also seeing the vikas, but this entire sarkari naukri in every family versus 1 crore jobs where we create opportunities कि बिहारी को बाहर नहीं जाना पड़े, which of these narratives will actually work? We'll pick that up after a break. We have to take a break, viewers. Stay with us.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
आन बान शान या के जान का हुदान आके एक धनुष के बान पे उतार दो. That's what all the candidates have done. They've given it their all, viewers. They've given it their all, and what they want to do now is to perhaps sit back and can hope that their efforts pay, and the voter, the janta, actually is convinced by what they had to offer. Who was the most convincing? Who do they trust? Who do they believe can give them the freedom to step out late in the evening after a long day at work, be it male or female? Who is it who can give them jobs, because unemployment is a core issue? Who is it who can solve the problems of displacement due to bad or floods? These are all questions that remain. Our guests are getting seated. Let's quickly signpost some of the important facets. First up, 7.42 crore voters across 243 assembly seats, of which about 15 lakh are first-time voters, 18 to 19 years. It's a historic 67% turnout across the two phases. This never happened. Even in the base of absolute numbers, it's perhaps one of the best turnouts, voter turnouts. And what does that indicate? But even then, about 33% of the voter did not come out to vote. Keep that in mind. It's a battle of two alliances. The 2020 scorecard points to the NDA, which had 125, just past the post. Indi Gathbandhan was at 110, really breathing down on the neck. This time around, the exit polls are saying, well, it will be Nitish Babu standing tall, riding off the entire PK factor altogether. The Simanchal region and the SIR impact will be in focus too. 97 seats with the migrant vote factor. How will they vote? Did they stay back after Deepavali and Chhath? We have to watch. There was a significant up in the turnout in phase 2, mind you, where the Simanchal region was covered. Women voters outnumbered the male voters by 10%. The Jivika Didis, do they hold a key factor? Is it the women who will come back and tell you that no, we trust Sushashan Babu because right through the last 2 decades, he has done more for women than anybody else we thought would? Or will it be the Yuva, about 40% of the voters this time around plus, who would say, no, we've not seen a Raj outside of Nitish Babu as Chief Minister. Let's look at something beyond Nitish. Will they do that? Or will they say, why fix something that ain't broken? Let's go straight across. Let's go straight across to our reporters, Pallavi Ghosh, Payal Mehta, joining us from ground in a good early morning. Ladies, what's the mood? What's the mood? There you go. We've also got Arun Danta joining us. Looking bright and early and fresh. You're not great. If you're morning people, you're all right. That's what it looks like. Pallavi Ghosh, what's that? Payal Mehta's all jacketed up. Are you there somewhere around the BJP offices, Payal? Let me start with Pallavi and then I'll come to you, Payal. Arun is somewhere which it looks like the RJD hold. Yeah, Pallavi.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Tejashwi Yadav residence. You can see the laltain or the lantern right behind me. Not glowing as of now, but I guess Tejashwi Yadav is going to wait to see whether it's glowing. I'm just going to give you a sense of where I am at this point of time. Okay. Across the wall is Nitish Kumar, that's the CM's residence. You can see already these posters have been put up. Bharat Varsh ke hone wale sabse yuva Mukhyamantri ko janmdin ki hardik badai. He did celebrate his birthday a couple of days back. But you know, this is a do or die election, I would say, as far as Tejashwi Yadav is concerned. Will he be able to hop over from this residence to that part of the residence? He certainly has been running a very high-pitched, aggressive campaign. I think, Anand, if there's something which can pull him down, it is the Congress party. A very lackluster campaign. They have been the Boj on the Mahabandhan. But more importantly, that Bandhan within the Mahabandhan has also been lacking. But for Tejashwi Yadav, this is an opportunity twofold very quickly because before I come.
Protect everything you love. Generali Central Insurance. आपका lifetime partner.
Just under 72 minutes to go before counting gets underway. It's Result Day live here at CNN News 18. Viewers, you can also watch us on Connected TV, on our YouTube platforms. We are live, we are streaming live this coverage continuously, and of course you can join us on television and set that remote aside right through the day and just stay right here with us. Sandeep Shastriji has taken our advice. Welcome, sir. Good to have you with us inside studio. That day he was away on an OB link and he felt ignored, neglected. Well, who will the voter ignore, neglect, and who will the voter embrace? We'll have to wait and watch. Thank you. Just quickly for us and our viewers and our guests here. CNN News 18 also spoke with Nitish Kumar's sister, Indu Kumari, who's confident that her brother will repeat his second term as the Chief Minister. And right after that, we'll get you a ground report from Pallavi. Have a look.
कितना विश्वास है रुझान उनके पक्ष में होगा?
हमको तो 100% विश्वास है।
अच्छा, क्या सब उनके कुछ काम को आप जरा चाहें कि गिना दें कि जो काम आपको लगा, चूंकि आप भी शिक्षा विभाग के अधिकारी रही हैं, अवकाश प्राप्त हो गई हैं, उनका कौन सा काम आपको बेहतर लगा जिसको लेकर हर तरफ जो है नीतीश कुमार की जय जय हो रही?
शिक्षा विभाग में भी काम किया है, महिलाओं का काम किया है, रोड का काम किया है, और भी बहुत चीज समाज का काम किया है, बिजली फ्री किया है, और क्या चाहिए? इससे ज्यादा तो आज तक कोई काम ही नहीं हुआ है।
चेहरे पर तो मुस्कान जो दिख रहा है उससे लग रहा है कि आप कॉन्फिडेंट हैं।
हम एकदम
कॉन्फिडेंट हैं आप। मतलब 25 से 30
फिर से 29।
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
आन बान शान या के जान का हुदान आके एक धनुष के बान पे उतार दो. That's what all the candidates have done. They've given it their all, viewers. They've given it their all, and what they want to do now is to perhaps sit back and can hope that their efforts pay, and the voter, the janta, actually is convinced by what they had to offer. Who was the most convincing? Who do they trust? Who do they believe can give them the freedom to step out late in the evening after a long day at work, be it male or female? Who is it that who can give them jobs, because unemployment is a core issue? Who is it who can solve the problems of displacement due to bad or floods? These are all questions that remain. Our guests are getting seated. Let's quickly signpost some of the important facets. First up, 7.42 crore voters across 243 assembly seats, of which about 15 lakh are first-time voters, 18 to 19 years. It's a historic 67% turnout across the two phases. This never happened. Even in the base of absolute numbers, it's perhaps the best turnouts, voter turnouts. And what does that indicate? But even then, about 33% of the voter did not come out to vote. Keep that in mind. It's a battle of two alliances. The 2020 scorecard points to the NDA, which had 125 just past the post. Indi Gathbandhan was at 110, really breathing down on the neck. This time around, the exit polls are saying Well, it will be Nitish Babu standing tall, riding off the entire PK factor altogether. The Simanchal region and the SIR impact will be in focus too. 97 seats with the migrant vote factor. How will they vote? Did they stay back after Deepavali and Chhath? We have to watch. There was a significant up in the turnout in phase 2, mind you, where the Simanchal region was covered. Women voters outnumbered the male voters by 10%. The Jivika Didis, do they hold a key factor? Is it the women who will come back and tell you that no, we trust Sushashan Babu because right through the last 2 decades, he has done more for women than anybody else we thought would? Or will it be the Yuva, about 40% of the voters this time around plus, who would say, no, we've not seen a Raj outside of Nitish Babu as Chief Minister. Let's look at something beyond Nitish. Will they do that? Or will they say, why fix something that ain't broken? Let's go straight across. Let's go straight across to our reporters Pallavi Ghosh, Payal Mehta, joining us from ground in a good early morning. Ladies, what's the mood? What's the mood? There you go. We've also got Arun Danta joining us. Looking bright and early and fresh. You're not great. If you're morning people, you're all right. That's what it looks like. Pallavi Ghosh, what's that smile all about? Payal Mehta's all jacketed up. Are you there somewhere around the BJP offices, Payal? Let me start with Pallavi and then I'll come to you, Payal. Arun is somewhere which it looks like the RJD hold. Yeah, Pallavi.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Tejashwi Yadav residence. You can see the laltain or the lantern right behind me. Not glowing as of now, but I guess Tejashwi Yadav is going to wait to see whether it's glowing. I'm just going to give you a sense of where I am at this point of time. Okay. Across the wall is Nitish Kumar, that's the CM's residence. You can see already these posters have been put up. Bharat Varsh ke hone wale sabse yuva Mukhyamantri ko
आरंभ है प्रचंड बोल मस्तकों के झुंड आज जंग की घड़ी की तुम गुहार दो।
ये तो पक्का हो चुका है कि एनडीए का विजय हो रहा है, बहुत भारी विजय हो रहा है।
चुनाव जीत रहे हम लोग, सरकार बना रहे हैं।
Let's look at the breakup. This is the mega exit poll overall numbers for CNN News 18 and the News 18 network. 140 to 150 seats for the NDA, 85 to 95 seats for the INDIA. Jan Suraj could get up to 5 seats and the others are 5 to 10 seats. Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome. Just over an hour ago, it's the day of reckoning for Bihar as the results of the 2025 Assembly Elections are going to be counted. It's Result Day live here on CNN News 18, on our YouTube platforms, on Connected TV. You can watch us anywhere. The fact is, you must watch us, viewers. This election, marked by a historic high voter turnout, has been a fiercely contested battle that will determine the political future of the state and carry significant implications for the national political landscape. Three forces that stand at the heart of the mandate of Bihar 2025. Women voters, first-time voters, and of course the young voters between 18 to 45 years. And of course the state's deeply layered caste alliances. Will they stick to caste or rise above it? And will that be gender specific? Will the women rise above the caste alliances? We have to wait and watch. Together they are set to determine whether the NDA holds on to power or whether Tejashwi Yadav-led Mahagathbandhan can script an upset, and how much space newcomer strategist turned political actor Prashant Kishore manages to carve out through his Jan Suraj party. Let's just get a quick look quick look at the numbers or the exit poll numbers if you can. We got big news coming through. Let's go straight to that first. BJP leadership has now urged restraint. BJP leadership has now urged restraint. The BJP leadership is now saying we will have to keep in mind the Delhi blast. Let's not forget there was tragedy this Monday. So come Friday, if it is a runaway victory, we will be careful. We will be careful with our celebrations. We will be happy that we won, but we will not forget those who have lost their loved ones and the tragedy that struck at 6:52 p.m. Payal Mehta now joins us. The Monday tragedy will be remembered. The Monday tragedy, Payal, will not be forgotten. And that's what the BJP is quietly telling its supporters, its cadre.
Yes, election win on one side. The BJP understands that they are Indians and they are citizens first and they have responsibility towards that. And they can't be insensitive towards the families that have actually lost their loved ones in that unfortunate tragedy that occurred just a couple of days ago as well. And that is the reason the BJP top brass has conveyed very, very, directly and very, very importantly to its party cadre that do not engage in major celebration. No bursting of crackers should be encouraged. And no, bringing those bands. This is a huge, it's a huge fair that you see at the BJP headquarters. Whenever the Prime Minister comes in, there's flowers which are showered on him. All of this has been said to be kept under the wraps and kept very low profile. Given the fact that insensitivity cannot be something that the BJP leadership over here can really display. So, we'll have to just wait and see how this runs through the day and, what happens when the Prime Minister comes to the party headquarters or if he decides to just convey his greetings to the party workers, through probably an online medium. It remains to be seen. The final decision will be taken in some time from now, but absolutely low-key celebrations, that's the mantra coming in from the BJP top brass.
Right. Thank you for that, Payal. We've got Sandeep Shastri and Rahul Verma also joining us, and viewers, like we said, we are not hiding anything. So if you see them snacking away, it's poha, healthy breakfast that's being served at the table because there's an early morning start on Result Day Live. Nalin Mehta has just got his hand on a mic and he is on a phone because he's also managing editor Money Control. So instructions are being passed on how election coverage will be on other platforms of the News 18 network. So you're wearing multiple hats.
Looking at how the markets are looking at the Bihar election and what the expectation in the markets at the moment is, and what the scenarios could be. So we're talking to a few people to get a sense of the markets at the moment.
So market, there's still time for the markets, but Sandeep Shastri, Rahul Verma. Now the Mahila factor and also this whole aspect of 10,000. How much will that impact? Will the women actually decide the ballot this time around because they've clearly outnumbered the male folk in coming out and voting? Sandeep ji.
My own response is, while the 10,000 factor is important, we are ignoring an important dimension. In the last 5 years of Bihar government, there has been 2-3 more developments which have impacted the women factor. One is what is called the Ajivika Didi, the whole livelihood program that they had.
Right.
There are reports which say these Ajivika Didis were there at the polling booths encouraging women to come out and work and vote. So self-help groups played an important role. The cycle program for women and girls, the prohibition, all these, and then 10,000 was, I think, in a sense, the topping of the cake. But then let's not forget there were several schemes involving women which have impacted in terms of the attitude that women have taken towards the current government, and you may see its impact in the way the results pan out today.
Sandeep ji, I keep thinking his voice resembles somebody. It is GVL Narasimha Rao. He sounds like GVL Narasimha Rao. He does. But yes, Rahul, tell me, Mahila Yuva, if Mahila may vote towards Nitish, there are many who are projecting that the Yuva may move towards Tejashwi because he is one of the most popular leaders in Bihar among the youth. Your thoughts?
So first, Mahila voting for Nitish is now a 15-year-old story, right? And so you have seen this happening from 2010, and there are, as Sandeep ji pointed out, many factors going for it. But what is more important, that political parties or leaders are trying to basically create a social base which cuts across caste lines, and those leaders are much more likely to be successful and retain power. This is what Nitish Kumar has done. Tejashwi is also trying to do that. He had some advantage among young voters in 2020, might still retain, but the big question is, would that be enough? Because Mahila would be like 1 in every 2 voter.
Right.
Youth would be 1 in every 4 voter. And even among youth, you will have 50% women. Right? So given that sort of like distribution, it basically creates greater
the Mahila factor actually cuts across caste, cuts across age.
Right?
So youth does not mean only.
So what? Yeah, exactly. So what you are basically seeing is not youth vote. You are seeing young men voting for Tejashwi.
And not necessarily that all young men will actually be voting for Tejashwi too.
Not all Mahila is voting for Nitish. It's just like probably.
No, but how much does that
make women? I want to make a point on women. There are two metrics I want to flag. One is that seats where women voting has been higher. Even in the last, if you look at data in the last 2 or 3 elections, in the last election there were 71 seats. Of those, NDA won 46 with a 38.64% vote share, right? Secondly, of seats which are जहाँ पे जो women बहुल हैं जो seats, वहाँ पर the JDU has always held on to more seats than other parties, followed by BJP and then followed by RJD. So it's not like RJD also doesn't have support among women, but the JDU has the maximum amount of women voters, and that's a trend going back to 2019 or even earlier. In fact, and I think Shastri is right, that the story of the women vote in Bihar goes back to 2005, and in fact, along with Gujarat, Bihar was the one state where this idea of the women vote as a separate entity, the Mahila factor, first became prominent.
Right.
So I think this Mahila vote thing is more like a fortress approach. It is a kind of shield that Mr. Nitish Kumar has. But just to add a point what Rahul Verma was saying, basically when we talk about youth, the 50% of youth would also be women voters. If unemployment is a big issue, if job is a major issue, then women are also equally affected, particularly urban women. So we cannot Anand, make a distinction that women naturally are tilted towards Nitish Kumar. If unemployment gains currency, then I think it may hurt Nitish Kumar much more than what is expected.
Well, the man who works the wall, he'll be joining us in a bit now, Zakir Jacob. But I'm just quickly borrowing the magic wall to show what Nalin was actually talking about in terms of numbers. This is the 2020 elections, and the 2020 Bihar. This is spread across Bihar, and largely this is the phase 2. This time around. This is phase 2, so this time around, the border regions and all. And Mahila factor is across 124 seats. And in those 124 seats, there's a 3% difference in the vote share polled between the RJD or the MGB and the NDA. And this 76 seats went to the NDA overall out of the 124, and this is at a time, the last time around, when there was a little bit of an anti-Nitish wave. The JDU was on the wane. This time around, this factor has actually changed. This factor is where Nitish is perhaps looking stronger than ever before, and he's got a public sentiment, and there's not too much of an anti or somebody cutting his legs from within itself. So that part is not there. So will this not go up rather than down, especially with the 10,000 impact or angle?
See, there's a backstory to this, Anand. I'll just describe it with anecdotes, what I saw on the ground. Many people, when you go on the Nitish Kumar knew in July, August, that the youth is rallying for the Mahagathbandhan. He knew this. He saw this and he took 3 steps. Number 1, as we all now say, 10,000 Chunav. For the first time in Bihar's history, a cash women voters. It's never happened. Yes, we've given cycles, we've given other things, but a cash payout for the first time was given from the month of August, September. When I went to the ground and asked women, did you get the cash? Cash mila hai, uska bakri kharida hai, bachada kharida hai, sewing machine kharid li hai. Women have got the money. First mover advantage. Second big step, I think, which Nitish Kumar did, 125 units of free electricity to every domestic consumer in Bihar. A big stop. It has softened the somewhat anger which was there against Nitish. I went to villages, people said, "Hamari to ab gaay bhi jo hai wo pankhe ke niche soti hai gaon mein."
Right.
Electricity aaya.
Yeah, Indu Kumari ji also spoke about it. Yeah.
And the third big thing, I think, which has happened is this old age pension, which has not been spoken about much. Rupees 400 to rupees 1100. When you go to the aged people in Bihar, the senior citizens, 1.2 crore, mind you.
Yeah.
They all thank Nitish Kumar. They see that, when you ask them that Nitish Kumar बूढ़े हो गए हैं, they say कि काम कर ना कोई चोरी करके थोड़ी बूढ़े हुए हैं.
Correct.
You know, they say this anecdote to me. So I think the senior citizen gratitude towards Nitish Kumar, the woman of course already a solid voter, but I think even more this time because of the cash payout which has come to them and promise of 2 lakh will come in the future and free electricity. These are the 3 big moves by Nitish ahead of the elections.
Let's just quickly
which
look
are happening.
The last 10 years, 4 elections. So it is 2015 Bihar elections, 2019 Lok Sabha, 2020 Bihar elections and the 2024 Lok Sabha. Just the women voters in these 124 seats, how it's happened. Now this is 2015, okay. In 2015, the Mahila factor, it's an even share, 61 seats each and 2 seats went to others. So, and look at the vote share, but there was a huge gap in the vote share, 43.3% and 28, but the seat conversion, INDI Gathbandhan had a higher seat conversion. Now if you want to look into the, and then you bring that to 2020, the 2020 numbers, we just looked at 17, 76 and 42. In between that, we had the 2019 Lok Sabha. So let's look at the 2019 Lok Sabha. 2019 Lok Sabha, look at the translation. Women voters actually gravitated in huge numbers because then the Modi factor also comes in. So it's not just Nitish Babu, it's the Modi factor, and look at the Modi factor. In 2024, now this is the recent Lok Sabha elections, and in the recent Lok Sabha elections, again because of the Modi factor, it's again 82, but then there's a slip. It's a slip by about 11 seats from the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, but still it's more than about 44% vote share. Now,
Anand,
in the
22,
yeah,
if you can draw in the rural filter there, that will kind of correlate with what the Mohila factor is.
Okay, let's try and add the rural filter here.
A rural state.
Okay.
If you draw in the rural factor on the
Yeah.
magic wall, it kind of tells you.
So the Mahila factor and rural factor. This is 2024 Lok Sabha, 73 seats. Now, if I were to go look at the 2020 Vidhan Sabha, yeah, just going 2020 Vidhan Sabha, it's again 68. So rural voters, Mahila have gone towards the
And
JDU,
I would argue
NDA.
to add to what Aman was saying, I think Aman is absolutely right about the 3 steps that were taken by Nitish Kumar last year. I would add one more to that, to the pensions and to the Mahila scheme, is the PM Kisan factor. I think that's an understated factor because it's been going on for a long time. 28,000 crores have been given to small farmers in Bihar. That's a national scheme. But I think one of the reasons what I explained these rural numbers, and if you remove the Mahila tab from the look at the rural parts of Bihar without the Mahila factor as well, you will find a very similar trend.
Similar trend, yes. Quickly, Sandeep, you have to go to our
We have been talking of women, we have been talking of youth, and we have been talking of caste. And Rashid ji raised the question of unemployment. I think what is important to focus is unemployment has been there last 25 years among the top 3 problems that people have faced. What is critical this time is the trust quotient. You see, who does the voter trust in terms of being able to deliver what they are promising? Everybody is making great delivery promises. But who does the voter trust in that sense? Yes. And that I think is the critical factor when they stand before that EVM to vote.
Well, let's ask Arunima and Arun Dhanta joining us. Arunima, whereabouts are you? You are. Why do I see Anand Singh behind you? So whereabouts? I see you on the poster. Yeah.
Yes, so I am at Anand Singh's Patna residence, and you know, it's all decked up. It's almost as if it Diwali still continuing. It says, "Jail ka fatak tootega, mera sher chhootega." And if you come with me inside, I want to show you the party offices are not ready as yet, but the Anand Singh residence is all decked up. There are supporters here. There are shamiyanas that have been put up on the other side, and they say they're going to feed 1 lakh people. So this is the shamiyana. The chairs have all been set up. The tables have been laid out, and the food. Just bear with me. If I will walk down to the kitchen area, I spotted at least 10 tubs of gulab jamun and rasgulla already ready. There's a huge kadhai there which was simmering with tarkari. So this is the area where the supporters from Mokama are going to come and they're going to be fed. There's a poster outside which says that every Vidhan Sabha member in Mokama is welcome to Anand Singh's residence. So this is the kitchen area that we are now walking into, where the cauliflowers have been chopped, the tomatoes are being pureed, and here when I go right, I'm going to show you where the mithai section is. This is the mithai section.
Oh, Neeraj from News 18 India is already in there.
Yes, so there you go. This is the mithai section.
Wow.
You see, the gulab jamun is already ready. The rasgulla is already, ready for dispersal. And on the other side, how the puri tarkari nash being prepared. here.
अरे यहाँ डाइट कंट्रोल करवा रहे हैं आप और आप पूरी तरकारी और गुलाब जामुन दिखा रही हैं.
The पूरी तरकारी is ready here. कितने लोगों के लिए खाना बन रहा है बता दीजिए यहाँ पे.
हाँ मैडम 1 लाख.
1 लाख.
हाँ मैडम जी.
तो आपको पता है वो जीत रहे हैं.
मैडम जीत रहे हैं. इधर आ जाइए. इधर सब्जी पड़ेगा. हेलो.
Okay, the sabzi is going for dispersal, Anand. It's a full on kitchen that is.
हर बार आनंद सिंह जीतते हैं.
नहीं इस बार जेल गए तो असर नहीं पड़ेगा.
कोई जेल का असर नहीं पड़ेगा इस बात को लेकर के. मैं भी आनंद, आप भी आनंद, पूरे मोकामा की जनता से हर घर से है अनंत अनंत.
Okay, हर घर से है अनंत अनंत. So that is the sentiment here. You know they're saying साजिश रची गई है. So this is एक मिनट. So you know they're all excited because they feel as soon as counting begins, Anand Singh will be declared winner. So at least at one place here in Patna, the early mover advantage can be seen in the kitchen.
Well, see, Anand Singh is somebody who's always another Bahubali. Arunima, and you know, jail ka darwaza tootega, mera sher chhutega. That's a sentiment in Mokama, and Anand Singh had said that this was being done deliberately to try and, you know, sabotage my own campaign. That's what he had believed. But whether or not the victory is in his, we don't know. But आप गुलाब जामुन पूरी तरकारी खाइए हमारी तरफ से, हमारा डाइट नहीं छूटेगा अभी तक तो, because हम वहाँ आपके साथ नहीं है.
Diet control for us also.
Let's go across to Arun Danta. Arun Danta is there at the BJP office. हाँ अरुण वाह अभी भी आप अकेले ही हैं क्या आ गए कार्यकर्ता?
बिल्कुल आनंद अभी भी हम अकेले ही हैं क्योंकि बीजेपी इज वेरी कैलकुलेटेड एंड मेजर्ड हियर एज वी स्पोक टू लीडर्स yesterday. They are saying that they will start celebrations, but there is a specific time for it. 7:38 you will see that BJP workers will be coming slowly to the party office. That's the instruction which has been given. And also, as we were discussing earlier, Anand, that the orders have been placed for the sweets here, and slowly you will see that also trickling in. Right now, of course, the office is filled with the posters, one of which you see right behind me. Raftar pakad chuka hai Bihar fir se NDA sarkar. So the entire office is decked up with such posters. And you will see slowly BJP workers will be coming in here. We are also told that there is a place dedicated here where laddus, samosas and things for the breakfast will be prepared. So those people will also be coming in here at the BJP office. And BJP, of course, we discussed earlier, is very, very confident that we're going to cross 160.
Right. Whether or not they cross 160, we will know in a few hours from now, Arun Danta. But in a few minutes, you will have nice hot breakfast. That's good. So the hard work pays off. Early bird catches the samosa in this case. Thank you. Stay on. We'll come back. And as and when we have somebody from the Bihar BJP coming there, we'd like you to speak with them. Pallavi Ghosh, ये बड़ा सुनसान वीराना आप कहाँ पर हैं?
Okay, it's not Virana at all. It's just trickling in. You see this bus over here? That's a trademark Prashant Kishore bus. I'm at the Shekhpura house in Patna. He's been parked over here for 3.5 hours. A very kind of a corporate style of campaign. I'm just going to give you a wee bit picture right behind me. These are the people who are trickling in. This is the team PK as they call themselves. You know, Prashant Kishore has tried to change the landscape of the way elections should be done over here. Because wherever he's been traveling, he's been talking about a different Bihar. He's talking about that caste should not be the barometer. I want jobs. You know, in fact, he's the only one who's also talking about prohibition doesn't make sense at all. And if I come to power, and I remember when I had spoken to him and I asked him whether you're a king or a kingmaker, he told me very categorically that I'm going to be the kingmaker. Well, the numbers are going to tell us that. But he's kept both the camps.
If you have been speaking to him, you should have asked him. Kingmaker बनना तो लड़ना भी तो चाहिए था. Why didn't he fight the elections? Election लड़े होते तो 5-10 सीटें मिलती.
When I went to Gopalganj, I did ask him that question, but you know, he tells me that a captain of the ship ही अगर लड़ने लगेगा तो फिर वो बाकी team members के लिए क्या लड़ेगा और क्या batting करेगा. So that's his logic. But you know, I agree.
In cricket, the captain leads from the front. You have to be in the middle. Batting आपको करना है. आप नहीं batting करेंगे, आप run नहीं बनाएंगे तो team will not get lifted. Morale will not be up.
But I think Anand, he wants to be a different kind of a captain over here. He wants to be, but I agree with you. Before I come back to you, I think there's been one point which may have hurt him, which could hurt him, which has certainly given an ammunition to his political opponents over here, was the fact that why did he not contest the elections? Because whatever explanation he may give, they always ask this question that
Yeah, not just, absolutely. After doing 3 years of hard work, legwork on ground and trying to set up cadre and party right across every district, every ward, every area, why did he actually then not contest? Everybody had the same. You had to contest. You had to go and challenge somebody, the tiger. Either contest where, the Lalan Singh was contesting, or somebody from JDU was contesting, or from Raghopur, where Tejashwi, Bastion, go ahead and show that fight to at least energize your cadre. That's the sentiment everybody had. And when he said, I'm not fighting, I think that itself deflated the entire campaign for Chand Suraj, contrary to what he may believe. All right, there's another poster. Just coming back to you, Pallavi, in a bit, to our guests in the studio. Have a look at this poster. So viewers, there are poster wars. JDU now has released a poster that exudes confidence. Bas kuch hi ghanton ka intezar. That's what the poster says. We'll try and play. It's just a matter of a few hours. Phir se Nitish Sarkar, something to that effect. There it is. See, there you go. Bas kuch ghanton ka intezar, phir aa rahi hai Sushaasan Sarkar. So this is the poster that has been put by Nitish Kumar and the JDU. Very clearly, their tone is is a stark contrast to the RJD. I'm going to check with our team if we can put the RJD poster on the far side, and we can just compare and contrast the tonality from both the parties. The moment you see these kind of the tonality and the signaling, does that not show who's the winner and who's the loser? Now, these are the two. Thank you. That's great. Now, सावधान, हर स्ट्रॉन्ग रूम के पास सब कुछ शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से होना चाहिए, बोल रहे हैं नीचे, पर 20,000 लोग पहुंचिए. ये देखिए, शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से होगा, नीचे छोटा लिखा है, बड़ा लिखा है सावधान, 20,000 लोग पहुंचिए. Here they are saying कुछ ही घंटों का इंतजार, फिर आ रही है सुशासन सरकार. संदीप जी.
Now, it's clear that the JDU wants to ramp up the way it projects its confidence level, because there was a lot of talk of the JDU being the weak link of the NDA, and I think they want to very clearly say we are there in front, we are there leading in important ways the coalition. So that's the whole message that goes back, and with this focus on Nitish as Sushashan Babu, the clear focus on him is very much there.
Sandeep, at the start, when we saw BJP a bit not declaring him very clearly, saying Vidhayak Dal set karega, I saw Nitish Kumar's party come out with this poster 25 se 30 phir Nitish. So they had very clearly put it out. There was also a lot of talk, Anand, that when BJP and JDU decided to contest 101 seats each. Always in Bihar, the JDU has contested more seats in an assembly election when they fought with the BJP. This is the first time that both contested the same number of seats. A lot of chatter in Patna, is Nitish being cut to size, he's not being declared the CM face. Nitish party came out and said 25 se 30 phir se Nitish. Aaj also they are saying that kuch ghanton ka intezar, phir Nitish Sarkar. So JDU is very clear. BJP in fact had to come around and very clearly then say that Nitish will be the chief minister.
And not just that, despite
this point, I want to give you some numbers. In 2005, in 2020, the JDU had contested 115, BJP had contested 110, and even earlier in 2005, JDU contested 139, BJP contested 102. This is the first time it's an equal alliance in number of seats.
So I think this poster business is purely for the media consumption. I think few hours people will get to know. This is just to draw attention, and they're being very successful.
Yeah, whatever poster you put, there has to be a tonality to it. That is the reason why.
It's of no purpose.
The Jaish Mohammed poster was also for social media consumption, but the tonality was important. The messaging was important.
I think we have to remember here that the situation today, even in national politics, it's an alliance government. JDU is a very important ally for the stability of the government at the center. JDU wants to project that strength and hopes to have a good performance. So it has more leeway nationally as well in alliance discussions. So I think this confidence is also kind of like a start to how much it will negotiate with the center if the elections go.
I think the focus for Nitish has always been to get special status without getting special status. That's where it is. You can't officially give special status, but you got to give enough to Bihar so that it's never a Bimaru this one, and the Bihari does not have to go Bahar. Now, will that promise be made? Will they exact more of their flesh? Yes, Rahul.
I'm worried.
You're worried?
Looking at RJD poster. Because I think what seems to be happening after 2024, of course, like opposition parties in last 1.5 years has been sort of questioning the election process, and this is basically taking it to another level, right? Just before the counting is beginning, if you start doubting the entire process, this is basically, now we are on the downhill on this road, because like, I don't know what would happen in the evening, but I think the entire process now with every election will always be contested.
Is this going to be trouble only if it is a very, very close fight? That if it comes down to the final 7, 8, 10 seats and the margin is 300, 400 votes or something like that, and that's where then the allegations start coming. If it's a runaway win one way, you think there will be any trouble? Yeah.
No, trouble can happen any which way, Anand, but you know, just look at the stark contrast in signaling, messaging of the two posters. One is one seems like a chilled out, confident sort of message, and in the other you see Lalu Prasad with a huge stick, a lathi, standing there, and they're asking people to sort of come in thousands. And also this whole sab kuch shantipurna tarike se hoga is a meme which is kind of ironic when they put Doval's photo or some before war and or something like that, and then they put that line.
Don't worry, all is well.
The point is, like, see, what's happening is that the opposition has started claiming that we are not losing election. The election is being stolen from us, right? Maharashtra was a runaway win.
Yeah.
Right? Given the kind of verdict
yeah,
they
this
got.
election denial, election being stolen, this is the narrative.
So what you saw, like, Maharashtra and Haryana story began much later after the results came out. Now this story is beginning even before the counting has begun, because in last 2 days you saw Tejashwi Yadav sort of like reaching out to his workers, doing Zoom calls, trying to tell them this is what you have to do at the strong room, and now you have these kind of posts.
And that is where I feel, Anand, that the Election Commission has not handled this allegations of vote chori in an apt and appropriate manner. They should have ordered some kind of probe. There are a lot of former chief election commissioners are around. There should have been some kind of probe or investigation into what a leader of opposition was saying. Whether it was true, untrue, it would have become doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani. See, by skirting it, no, it's not a matter of
during the campaign, the RJD focused not on vote chori as the Congress did. But now with this issue coming up as part of their poster, now is it a reflection of the RJD seeing the right?
Or is it
we
him,
need to prepare the
or
ground.
is it them trying to say, because the cadre, if he is trying to say the cadre has to come, that means that the cadre is deflated. There is something on the ground sentiment for a Tejaswi to sit down and address a press crowd. Don't worry, हमने अच्छा किया है. Why? The cadre will already know अगर हमने अच्छा किया है.
I agree with Rahul on the deeper point here that the great resilience of Indian democracy has been that everybody believes in the system. Now when the losers start saying, look, we never lost, but the election was stolen, it puts a question mark on the legitimacy of the entire system, and it puts a question mark on the stability of the system. And therefore, I mean, while the Election Commission could have handled it better for sure, but the fact of the matter is, this is not good for Indian democracy if you start having these kind of direct questioning happening, because then, everything is up in the air.
You can't stop a sore loser unless there is active proof. You can make allegations. I can keep saying Rashid Bhai had 2 plates of poha. He had 2 plates of poha. He had 2 plates of poha. You may all say, okay, he may have had to. Show me the plate. There is no plate. There is only 1 plate there. So, no, he still has had 2 plates of poha.
Is very different from.
Chaka Jacob right behind me. Okay,
I don't even have any poha.
And I keep telling Zaka.
Why, please give me also some poha. Why are you the only one who's having poha?
No.
It's about the credibility of the system. It's not about outcome. We should not link.
No, but then you can't make claims which you can't substantiate. No, then give it on a written affidavit. You're not doing that.
In a vibrant democracy,
in the context of Bihar, when Mr. Gandhi took out his yatra, of course that flopped, and we know that Congress is being looked at as a liability. But now when Tejaswi is picking up this issue, the same issue that Mr. Gandhi set in Bihar, although it was kind of like, it didn't pick up any momentum, but if Tejaswi is inciting his workers to come out on that street, that's a different story from Mr. Gandhi taking out a yatra.
Let's take a look at this Rahul Yatra factor, and I'm doing this on 2024 Lok Sabha leads pasted on to Assembly, by the way, which Nalan thinks is the way to go, because he thinks this will be similar to the 2024 Lok Sabha results and not so much the 2020 election. Let's look at the impact of the Rahul Yatra, if at all it's going to be felt. 183 constituencies, but look at the numbers. The NDA still, out of those 183, is still leading in 122. the India Alliance only in 43. And look at the difference in the vote share. In a state we're talking about 1% can make a difference of 10 or 15 seats. Last time around, the difference between the two alliances was less than 1%, and yet the NDA eked out. There is a 11% gap. So my point is, will it fall exactly the way it happened in 2024 Lok Sabha? Maybe not. Certainly not, because Mr. Modi is on the ticket, and I think that's a big factor. But if you were to apply this back to how it was in the 2020 Vidhan Sabha, along with that same Rahul Gandhi filter, then the numbers change. Then it's much closer. Look at this. The difference in vote share is barely 1%, a little over 1%, and the difference in seats is down to 30. Is not the same as what we saw in 2024 Lok Sabha. So the question is, which way will this verdict fall? Will it fall somewhere in between 2020 Vidhan Sabha or 2024 Lok Sabha?
No, and to open up to close a 11% vote share gap, it's not an easy ask. See, look, if you look at the 2024 numbers that you put, look at that vote share gap. It's 11% vote share gap. Now, in Bihar, you have these cases, you may have vote share, but you may not end up with seats. That's also there, that votes could be concentrated on certain seats and not spread all across.
There was
That's
a
also
vote
possible.
share gap in 2019 Lok Sabha, but Tejashwi closed that in the Bidhan
in 2020.
In 2020.
Yeah, so I think the critical difference there is, when people are voting in the Lok Sabha, it's for, I'm choosing the Prime Minister. I'm voting for or against Modi, right? Whereas in the Vidhan Sabha, that's not quite the case.
I think across the country, you see this difference in the way Lok Sabha voting turnout happens.
Karnataka is a classic example.
And
that's true.
Here, very clearly, when it comes to the assembly, the RJD pulls up the alliance a bit. And when it comes to the Lok Sabha, because of the NDA factor, the Prime Minister factor, they are able to do much better in the Lok Sabha election.
In fact, this is the 2019 one. I projected this on to 2019. In fact, it's the LJP that's doing better than the BJP when you talk about the 2019 numbers. Sorry, the JDU, which is doing better than the BJP when you talk about the 2019 numbers. But I think ultimately this election will fall somewhere between the 2020 Vidhan Sabha, as we saw here, and the 2024 Lok Sabha, because the alliances are pretty much the same, even though the people they're choosing, one election is for Prime Minister, the other election is for Chief Minister. But this is on the Rahul Gandhi Yatra factor. This is how the map is right now. In about 30 minutes, we will start getting the little pockets getting filled up with either saffron or green or India Alliance. Two biggest factors everyone thinks is going to influence this election. One is women, the other is youth. Which of these two do you think will prevail or will dominate the discourse of this election?
See, on women factor, we know quite more than we know on the young factor. One, we know that women have largely voted for Nitish. Two, we know that the gender turnout has been really high, right? So gender gap is also strong. And women also make half of youth population, right? So given that, I think the impact of that vote is going to be much more. The question is whether that vote will keep the results around 2020 mark or that result will keep around 2024 mark. And that's one of my sort of concerns with the exit polls. If exit polls have not waited for differentials in gender turnout, then the numbers they are estimating is conservative. And
so you're saying it'll be much more than 130, 140?
Because if women are coming out in greater numbers and they are more likely to vote for a party, if you don't weigh for that in your vote share data or vote estimate data, it will not show. So that's why you are seeing the vote share gap in some polls is around 4%, 5%. But the seats they are showing is 120, 130.
See, when certain pollsters say youth and youth are voting for Tejashwi, are they saying that youth male and female? Or are they saying youth only male? Because the dipstick analogies or focus group analogies, if I may say, when our reporters have gone on ground and they have said, women are saying, I can go back home at 10. My daughter comes back home at 10 after work and she's safe. Now that daughter is a youngster. She's youth. Now who's she going to vote for? And has that been factored in pollsters when they are doing these dipsticks? Because we said, no, Mahila is spread across age groups and castes and this one, social strata.
I think, as Rahul said, there is some element of clarity which is emerging on the way the Mahila vote is likely to go. And for a variety of reasons, it seems to be favoring the NDA. If you look at the youth vote, and I concede the point that half that youth vote is women, but if you look at the other half, the expression in the media that the Gathbandhan may be the beneficiary of this vote. I think there are important question marks there, because I go back to my earlier point. If the youth are worried about issues of employment and the like, who are they looking at in terms of being able to solve that problem?
Who do they trust?
Yeah, you say the trust quotient.
Yeah.
And there I believe it may well be, and we'll get to know in the course of today, it may well be that that youth vote also to a certain extent may have moved towards
So then in that case, then does this then become a runaway election? Will this then become a runaway election if they say that the trust factor, yes, unemployment is an issue, who do I trust?
The polity, I feel that is now smarter than we think them to be. So I feel like if there's a party that is making promises of jobs, for instance, but there is no backstory of how these jobs are going to be created. Like we saw this after the Karnataka win, the Congress Karnataka win, that you made so many promises, you couldn't live up, like there was a dent on your exchequer. So this becomes a big problem. Our polity is smart. So then are the women across age groups thinking that we'd rather have cash in hand, make our own investments like bakri or, you know, some other farm animals, sewing machines, makhana, you know, farming, whatever it is that, are they thinking, do they have more confidence in what they are going to do with that money?
On this Mahila voter thing, you know, again, I'm plotting it on the 2020 result. So we have those constituencies, and more than half the number of seats in the state where women have outvoted men by a percentage of more than 10, which means for every 10 men, there are 11 women who are voting. 124 of those constituencies, the NDA won 39% vote share, and the India Alliance got just 42 at 36% vote share. Remember, overall in the state, the vote share difference was less than 1%. But here, the vote share difference is more than 3%. So this is a huge factor, and this is a JDU vote. A lot of the JDU seats were on the back of the women vote. Today, we'll see on these 124 seats where women outvote men, by how much and who are the beneficiaries politically speaking.
I want to make a couple of quick points on this. We mapped the ratio of women's seats won to overall wins. And if you look at the last 3 or 4 elections, there is a difference. If the NDA is much higher than India, as you are showing in the magic wall, but within the NDA, there is a qualitative difference between JDU and BJP on the Mahila factor. So if you look at the ratio of women's seats won to overall seats, JDU in 2019 won 65% of those seats. In 2020, 55%. In 2024, 55.6%. The BJP's ratio in comparison was around the 32% mark, right? So the JDU's percentage of women voter is significantly
if you look
higher
at
than
the
the
2020
BJP's, and that's
Viधाnsabha projections, the BJP had
yeah.
20% of the votes, the JDU had 4% less. And in terms of the BJP actually pulled more seats in the 2020 elections.
That's true. But what I'm saying is that that's because of the way the seat share is done and so on. But I'm saying that in terms of the seats which JDU actually won out of those, because the concentration of vote is there. So their percentage of
there's another dynamic this time around. We are discounting the rural advantages that the Kisan and the rural voter and the rural dweller has got. 2 parts. One is this whole corn, makai, because it's being used for the production of ethanol. So when I had a chat off record with somebody within the ministry, and they said that ethanol production, the sourcing has been more than upwards of 15 to 20,000 crore rupees, and it could be close to 40,000 crore rupees worth of sourcing of makai for ethanol production from Bihar. Then the makhana part, the fox nuts part, that makhana board, creation of the makhana board, organizing that, and also the relative cost increase of makhana because of it being nationalized and internationalized. Is that not going to come back and help and pay dividends to those who facilitated it? In this case, Modi Nitish or BJP JDU.
It will. I think the makhana move was a big move by the Modi government. It's going to help them. That's what the ground feedback also that the BJP has. But Anand, I'll tell you one thing. See, in every election, there is one domineering topic. You know, I remember Karnataka election, DK Kumar came and put that LPG cylinder right in the middle of the Congress office and said, because LPG cylinder 1200 rupees. I think this election is the 10,000 chunav. Women factor is a big factor. 10,000 rupees, actually people have got it. You know, it's gone in the bank accounts of people. When I go to the ground, what I feel that women of the ages 30 and plus, 35 and plus are totally siding with the JDU, because not only have they got the rupees 10,000, they also know the 2005 pre-era. They have seen that as children, you know, these girls who could not get out of the house, could not go to school safely. Yes, the young woman voter, the 18 to 25, 18 to 30 voter, that also is struggling because of unemployment. You know, they do say that jobs Nitish ne kuch nahi kiya 20 saal mein. But their families, their mothers would tell the daughters that look, नीतीश के अंदर जॉब नहीं मिला, बट रिमेंबर जंगल राज वापस आ जाएगा, आप घूम भी नहीं पाओगे।
18 to 30 है वो तो 20 साल का जॉब है ही नहीं, उनको तो 18 अभी 20 4-5 साल।
These are the women I'm seeing stepping out of college, you know, at 20 years, they are not getting jobs in Bihar. That's a fact.
Yeah.
But they also remember the old times that you're not able to win Rome safely in Bihar. I think that is a big factor.
Was that the bigger challenge, the fact that industrialization of Bihar in terms of bringing industry, manufacturing and all of that, will that be the next promise, or will that be one of the first things that if it's a pro-incumbency vote that the incumbent will do? Just going across to the rut and then coming back. Griha is joining us.
Just one second, Nalan, one second.
Just coming back. Yeah. So we've got Griha joining us. Griha is joining us. Griha is joining us from the live result hub. Let's go across to the live result hub. Poha, chai, everything served, all set for counting to get underway. Griha.
Absolutely, Anand. Good morning to you and good morning to everybody at CNN News 18 and all the people watching. This is the live result hub, the crown jewel of our net. To see the results first. And why do we say that? Because we have this dominated record of calling the elections first, and this is where you have seen it, and you can say that because no other network or channel can boast of such a facility. So right here you can see these are our volunteers who are sitting across at the live result hub. These are the phones that our reporters will call and in fact talk about when the first tally really starts to trickle in, when the first vote is cast and when the result gets announced. The first vote, that's where you see the call come in and it is then represented here, and that's how it gets seen on the broadcast. So it happens here first, and you can see our volunteers, you're spread across. The Battle of Bihar has begun, and as we all know, when it is about exit polls, it's very difficult to predict Bihar. So we have to rely on the ultimate source, and we have a network of reporters, a battery of reporters that are spread across all the constituencies, all the districts, and they continue to call here. The moment the first ballot is cast, the moment, I beg your pardon, the first result is announced, it gets seen here. And we will tell you first, because here's where
in charge? Griha, who is in charge?
I just also want to make the point, Griha, and you can weigh in on this as well. Other channels, from 8 o'clock, you're going to see them run away with the numbers. It'll go to 50, 100 within a few minutes. We're not doing that because we've got a reporter, a resource in every one of the 243 constituencies. Every single one of the 243 constituencies, they will be calling in to this live result hub, which will be fed into our system, and then it will automatically populate across
Absolutely.
all.
We verify it first. We verify it first before we show it on the big screen where you all are. And we don't want to run with the numbers, and we don't want to fill our screens. We want to rely on the absolute numbers, and that's what these representatives are sitting here for. And there you can see, this is how it is seen here. The moment the first vote is announced is when these things start ringing. And that's when it's seen on the screen.
The first leads. So what we'll see is the early leads that will come in, because our representatives, not just the constituencies but also posted at the counting centers, and from inside the counting centers we'd get information that will be relayed in real fast time, and it's going to be the same set of numbers across the network. That's what you would see even on connected TV, YouTube, as you're watching us live. Be rest assured that you will have the correct numbers here on CNN News 18. So now coming back to this conversation that we were having about the voter, the rural factor. Nalan, you wanted to make a point. Yeah, go ahead.
I was making a point that we have seen what the Mahila scheme did in Maharashtra and in Haryana. Now in Bihar, this is even much more important, because while Bihar's growth rate has been all right, it is much lower than than even the other Bimaru states. And Bihar is a state which has virtually got no private sector investment, just about $200 million of FDI last year. So in a state like that, but contrast that with the social sector spending. It's almost half of its revenue receipts are spent on social sector spending. Therefore, in a state like Bihar, this has a far more resonance than in more developed states like in Haryana or in Maharashtra.
So on the youth factor, everybody was talking about the youth factor. We looked at the top 10 districts in Bihar from where youth go away as migrant labor to other states, and we plotted that on the magic wall. It walks up to again about 100 seats, 97 out of 243. There too, in a close election like we saw in 2020, the NDA had almost 60 and the India Alliance had 40. So it's almost like a 2:3 ratio. The vote share gap is also about 1.5%, 1.4% or so, 1.5% or so. Again, it comes back to who do they trust to solve this employment problem. Tejashwi, this is his second election where it's either against him or for him, the vote. And he's the young man, he's the challenger, he's the guy who's saying, I'll give you the jobs, or, 3 crore government jobs, so on. But I don't see evidence of that even with the youth vote.
Amidst all of this, we've been talking. Prashant Kishore. No, we've been talking about Tejashwi, we've talked about Nitish, we've talked about Prashant Kishore. With all this, it's amazing that we're not talking about Prime Minister Modi. We're not talking about the Modi factor, the fact that he actually was in Bihar when he said that Pahalgam will be avenged. It was in Bihar that he announced that we will not let them. So Operation Sindoor, and after Operation Sindoor, one of the first visits was back in Bihar where he said, listen, I said we will avenge it and this is what we have done. So that factor, jo kahega wo karke dikhayega, that trust factor. And is PM Modi's factor now just there, all encompassing, not right into the fore because it's an assembly election and you've realized that you need to have a local face in Bihar because Bihar's unique combination and Nitish being fulcrum to it. But can we forget PM Modi and can we forget the work the BJP Sangh is doing? This is their 100th year. So the Sangh would also want to return a 100% score and they are going to be doing their work on ground. Not actively campaigning for the BJP but at least ensuring people come out to vote. Yes sir, yes.
Given the fact that the BJP and the JDU contested an equal number of seats, and if you look at the BJP campaign, its candidates campaign, the clear focus was on the Prime Minister's leadership. They kept on making the point that look at how BJP ruled states are functioning, look at how the center is doing things. We want to bring the same in the state. The JDU on the other hand focused on the chief minister. So that was a very interesting campaign. One focusing on the chief minister within the same alliance. One focusing on the chief minister, one focusing on the prime minister.
Right. And
So with the prime minister, I feel it's been 10 years. I think there is no longer a need for even the party to prove why you need a Modi run government. Like, I think it is so established and it is so ingrained that that work is absolutely not required anymore. And I think people of the country feel that as long as Prime Minister Modi is there, people feel
so this Modi hai to mumkin hai is now an established factor. It doesn't need to be established is what you're saying. So that's underlined.
It's a contributory factor. I think, if you look at Modi mandate in Bihar, it's a little problematic in the same event of if there is an unexpected defeat. Would we say this is a defeat of Narendra Modi? No. It will be put at the doorstep of Nitish Kumar. He was too old.
But the factor of Modi remains. Even now the victory is with Nitish Kumar. The biggest champion and perhaps the tallest face that will emerge out of this result will be Nitish Kumar. Going across to Shivani. Shivani is joining us live from Patna, right outside the Bihar Assembly. Early start, Shivani. You got a great setup there. You got people around you. Over to you.
Thanks a lot for that. Good morning to all of you in the studios. I'm joining you from our studio outside the Bihar Legislative Assembly. Let me just show our viewers around the setup that we have here. A lot of our guests from local parties also joining us, and I'll get you the mood that is prevailing in Bihar first up. Here, everyone is talking about whether there can be any ruckus on ground because of the kind of warnings that the RJD has given. There is already greater security that has been put out. There is a message by the local administration to every person that if you see anything going wrong, if you have concerns, then dial our numbers. Don't take matters into your own hands. There is security that has been extended or increased around all of the polling station, all of the counting stations, 46 of them. Even outside the Chief Minister's residence, security has been increased. So that's the kind of staff that we're having here in Bihar. But through the day, we're going to get you all of the reactions that you need to hear as the pouring in. At AM, ballot boxes are going to be opened, but it's going to be postal ballots that are going to be counted first. There's been an ominous warning from RJD and Tejashwi Yadav saying that if the voting goes slow, if the counting goes slow, then they will suspect that something is going wrong. I have the RJD representative with me. ये जो RJD बार-बार बात कर रही है कि अगर काउंटिंग स्लो हो गई तो लोग सड़क पे आ जाएंगे, इसकी क्या जरूरत है?
देखिए, आपने देखा होगा 2020 के बिहार विधानसभा चुनाव में और काउंटिंग को स्लो कर दिया गया था 4 घंटे के लिए। जब देखा कि राष्ट्रीय जनता दल महागठबंधन की सरकार बनती नजर आ रही है, उनके पक्ष में जबरदस्त रुझान आ रहा है, एक सोची समझी साजिश के तहत शासनादेश के बल पर चुनाव आयोग ने इस तरह का खेला करने का काम किया, और जिसके कारण आप देखेंगे 2 दर्जन से अधिक राष्ट्रीय जनता दल महागठबंधन के उम्मीदवार चुनाव जीत चुके थे, उसे एक सोची समझी साजिश के तहत हराया गया, कहीं 12 वोट से, कहीं 100।
तो आज अगर आप कह रहे हैं कि आप रिजल्ट आपके मुताबिक नहीं आए तो क्या करेंगे आप?
नहीं, रिजल्ट देखिए, मेरा यही निवेदन है आपके चैनल के माध्यम से कि जो काउंटिंग प्रक्रिया है वो स्मूथली और पारदर्शी तरीके से हो।
ठीक है, so there is of course video monitoring that is going on, there is increased security that has also been established. BJP representative is also with me. एक तरह से आरजेडी का कहना है कि रिजल्ट, कल तेजस्वी का जो बयान आया, उन्होंने कहा हमारे लिए वोट हुआ है, लेकिन अगर हमें लगा कि काउंटिंग सही से नहीं हो रही है तो जनता अपने हाथ में लेगी मैटर्स को। तो आप इसको कैसे देखते हैं जो वार्निंग आई है? देखिए, वो 2020 के इलेक्शन को भी कह रहे हैं कि लूट लिया था बीजेपी ने और इस बार भी वही कोशिश होगी।
देखिए, उनका हताशा, निराशा है, क्योंकि चुनाव उनके पक्ष में हुआ नहीं। बिहार की जनता ने, 13 करोड़ जनता ने मोहर लगाया नीतीश कुमार जी के नेतृत्व को, देश के प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व पे। जो हमने संकल्प लिया था लगातार, उस संकल्प है। और बिहार में विकास की गंगा बह रही है। आप बिहार कान से सुनने वाला बिहार नहीं रहा, आंख से देखने वाला बिहार हुआ। आप आए होंगे, पटना एयरपोर्ट देखा होगा।
नहीं तो अभी आज अगर काउंटिंग ये कह रहे हैं स्लो हुई तो क्या होगा? आपको क्या लगता है कि राजद के लोग क्या करने की कोशिश करें?
ये राहुल गांधी जी के भाई है। ये मुद्दा खोज रहे हैं, चुनाव हार रहे हैं, मुद्दा खोज रहे हैं। कोई तो बहाना चाहिए, ठीकरा तो चाहिए किसी पे फोड़ने के लिए, इसीलिए ये लोग कर रहे हैं। इनके पास कोई मुद्दा ही नहीं था, ना नेता था, ना नियत था, ना निष्ठा था। लेकिन बिहार की जनता ने नेता नीतीश कुमार जी को माना, देश के प्रधानमंत्री को माना। एक बात और मैं कहना चाहता हूँ, प्रधानमंत्री का सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास, सबका प्रयास, और बिहार के मुख्यमंत्री जी का निश्चय था पार्ट 1, पार्ट 2, पार्ट 3।
वो इलेक्शन देख लिया।
देखिए, मतगणना पारदर्शी होनी चाहिए।
क्यों नहीं होगी पारदर्शी? आप क्यों मानते हैं कि क्यों नहीं होगी पारदर्शी? जो रिजल्ट होगा आप मानेंगे या नहीं मानेंगे? अगर आरजेडी 5 सीट से पीछे रह जाती है तो आप मानेंगे या नहीं?
बता रहा हूँ, सीट अलग चीज है, जीत हार अपनी जगह है, लेकिन मतगणना पारदर्शी तरीके से होनी चाहिए। बिहार लोकतंत्र
आपके एजेंट है ना अंदर,
अगर लोकतंत्र।
Okay, Shivani, will come back to you as and when there's more developments there. I just want to, our guests here in the studio were talking about the Modi factor. If you look at it, again, we're looking at 2020 result. There's a much closer election. Modi had 90 constituencies that he covered in the rallies. I think 13 or 14 rallies he did in Bihar this time around. It adds up to about 94 constituencies. Something fascinating here, even though the NDA was ahead in all of those seats, 49 to 43 of the India Alliance, in vote share, it was the India Alliance which was more than the NDA. It was about less than, 0.5%, but it was still ahead in terms of vote share. And the reason for that is because the RJD's vote is a very concentrated vote. Even in the last time, this alliance that they had with the CPI-ML, particularly in southern Bihar and in central Bihar, that seemed to have clicked for them because it's a highly concentrated vote. The problem for the RJD is in the northern part of the state, what they call Mithilanchal, and of course here again in Simanchal, where the election gets polarized because there's a higher percentage of Muslim population here. The BJP has done in what is called the north of the Ganga seats, whereas in the southern part of the state, it was the RJD, CPI-ML, Congress alliance which did better. This time, will it be like this? Will it be different in any form or fashion? We'll have to wait and see.
But just go back to 2015 in the same set and see what was the NDA's vote share in 2015. If you were to look at 2015,
the India's vote share was 12% more, although the seats were neck and neck.
Seats were neck and neck,
but the vote share was substantially higher. But again, that's a different election because RJD and JDU were together in 2015. This time they're not.
This time they were not. So, because usually Pradhan Mantri goes to campaign in those seats which are tough. The tough seats is where he needs to rally up and get more votes and pull more votes. That's where the Pradhan Mantri's vote share is or votes are. So if in 2020 he was in these pockets, was it to take away a certain level of the RJD votes and continue to pull because these were tough seats? We have to wait and watch. We have to see how that works. Yes.
So of course in any state election, CM face and national leaders matter. Modi pulls up vote for the BJP and much more in national elections than state elections. And I think let's not just focus on Narendra Modi, we should also talk about Rahul Gandhi and the kind of discoordination.
We can look at Rahul Gandhi.
Yeah. Because see the point is this, where whatever sort of discomfort the NDA alliance had, it was not public. Whereas the discomfort within the India alliance in Bihar was public in a way that they are fighting on 11 seats, what they call friendly fight. they took so much time to sort of like give symbols to the candidate that on the last day, like people didn't know who their candidate was going to be. And there was a fight who's going to be the CM face, like, and Rahul Gandhi was there like 2 months before the sort of
and for a good 2 months he
and so
disappeared.
Rahul Gandhi and Tejashwi's campaign in that sense ran in some ways orthogonal, right? And
no,
that
and
also,
not just that, how could Mukesh Sahni of the VIP and announce him as the Deputy Chief Minister, and he just fell by the wayside during the campaign. You sidelined him totally. You just made him sit there and you benched him. You said you are the DCM face and you benched him. Why would you do something like that? That's a far greater insult.
Anand, on this Modi factor, Zaka, you know, I was looking at the numbers, and the numbers that you showed for 2020, if you map them on the 2024 thing, elections, you will find that the
Nalin, just hold on to the pictures. Action.
Lalu
Lalu Prasad Yadav is moving out of his house. Arun Singh is joining us with the details. Yes, Arun. Ji.
2024. But it's,
Arun, namaste.
I mean, the seats are.
Arunima is also with us. Arun, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? लालू प्रसाद यादव अपने घर से निकले हैं. आवाज आ रही है आपको? All right, we go to Arun Singh in a bit. Arunima is also there. Arunima is at the JDU office where posters have been put up. So let's go back to Arun. Yes, Arunima.
So the Badhai poster is already up here. The counting, the postal ballot counting will begin in just a few minutes. But already, पूरे बिहार वासियों को हार्दिक बधाई. This poster has come up outside the JDU office, and if you pan a little bit, you see the policemen, the men and women in khaki, have also now started coming to the JDU office. Is this because the Election Commission-led administration is worried after all the threats that came in from the RJD? Even though RJD continues to say that it should be peaceful, but the spokesperson putting up a photograph in her hand, another spokesperson talking about 20,000 log पहुंचे हर counting center पे. Is that the cause of worry? Because just a short while back there was no police deployment, but now police men and women are coming up. And why is JDU office the center of so much attention? Because of this another poster that has come up. This says Tiger Abhi Zinda Hai. This poster has become a talk of the town here, because this is like JDU's response to Tejashwi Yadav, who kept asking if Nitish Kumar is mentally agile, if he is physically fit, if he is in a position to continue to govern Bihar for the next 5 years. So Tiger Zinda Hai ya nahi, we'll know in about 15 minutes from now when counting begins. But JDU Karyakartas definitely are upbeat.
Poster wars have gotten underway. One says सावधान 20,000 कार्यकर्ता हर काउंटिंग सेंटर पर. The other one says बस कुछ घंटों का इंतजार, फिर से आएगी सुशासन सरकार. टाइगर अभी जिंदा है, बूढ़ा शेर और भी खतरनाक होता है. These are all conversations that are happening because jibes have been taken. बूढ़े हो गए हैं आप, आपसे नहीं हो पा रहा है. You can't have your fact. Nistula Ibar, good morning. So upping up the Mahila quotient in the studio. Fantastic.
Always a good thing.
Always a good thing. Always a good thing.
When this election is going to be decided by the M factor, then why not, right?
See, the MY also changes. No, Muslim Yadav to Mahila Yuva. Bihar ka pura yahi change ho jayega. Political lexicon will change. But how would you see Nitish Kumar, and what would you want to surmise at the end of these, as the dust settles in a few hours from now?
Well, this is the last election for the progeny of the JP movement. After this, I think 2030, I don't think we're going to see. It's going to be a completely different set, cohort group of leaders who we are going to see in the fray. And as I said earlier also, many times on this on this set itself, this is an election where the people of Bihar had to decide whether or not they're going to give a nice little farewell into the sunset for Nitish Kumar or not. Because there were all sorts of speculations about his health and whether or not the BJP will now let him remain chief minister, will they change him mid-stride. So a lot will depend on how the sentiment of his voters, a very formidable constituency that he has built up, whether they will say no, we make one last stand for him, not just we will vote him back, we will give him a competitive score against his own ally, so that there is no question on the issue of chief ministership. So that is where the election actually.
So 5 minutes. JDU,
just 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go before the counting
once again
centers
for our
open.
viewers, first the Election Commission has put this out that they will be counting postal ballots. That's going to be That's going to take time because that's physical. You have to count it physically, and then the EVMs open. So for the first half hour or so, you will see the postal ballots reflecting. So please be aware once again, the other channels that are going to be fudging their numbers in the first few minutes. Please don't believe them. The real results from the live result hub here on CNN News 18. I want to just quickly add to this Nitish Kumar factor. In an election where he did badly last time around, where the JDU won just 43 seats, it was a number 4 party. There are 24 of those seats which the JDU has never lost in the last 3 elections. In fact, more than half of the seats that the JDU won last time in a bad election were those seats which they've never lost in the last 3 elections. So the JDU has a base from where they're starting off. And this time around, and remember last time it was Chirag Paswan who spoiled Kumar's chances in about 30 seats, 32 seats is what he's saying. So if you add 32 and 43, he would have had 75 seats. He would have been the single largest party.
See, imagine in the NDA, outside of the JDU and the BJP, he has actually garnered a huge bulk of seats. You know, Ham Party and Jitan Ram Manji have been quite literally sidelined and said, "Jitna hai, utna mein aapka strike rate improve kariye." But for him to get 29 seats, does he really merit that? And will that be a test of the Paswan legacy and also Chirag Paswan? Because Pashupati Paras is now on the other side. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Because he is, in some ways, Chirag Paswan so far in assembly elections have not won seats in double digits. Right, last time he was an insurgent, before that he wasn't part of any coalition. So in some ways, this would be a test case for him. Can he get seats in double digits? He's contesting 29. He does well in Lok Sabha elections, but that's mostly family members contesting, and then it's a national election where people are voting for Prime Minister Modi. It is being said that Chirag Paswan is really popular across Bihar. He has been called to campaign. Whether he can get his own party elected on sort of like that would be a
no. When he got 29 seats, I think more consternation inside the NDA than in the opposition. Many people in the NDA felt he didn't deserve 29 seats. We'll see how much he converts that.
You have 80 seconds to answer. 80 seconds. 80 seconds you have to answer.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, as I said
80
earlier,
seconds, you are starting the countdown.
As I
80
said
seconds.
earlier, this time India has actually fought as a really, united alliance. BJP has put in money even where in the alliance seats, so, that may offset this 20.
JDU people in fact told me that in the run-up to the polls, even before the seat adjustment had been announced, they had a series of meetings from block to major rallies with the PM of all the NDA constituents. Those meetings, especially at the seat level, have really helped them,
Yeah,
so because there are a lot of
Zaka in Bihar, Paswans basically collaborate. They don't assert. So there is a 19% Dalit vote there, but unlike Uttar Pradesh, there is no assertiveness, political assertiveness, and therefore this collaboration helps, and that results in the kind of seats that LGP is able to get. Okay.
Right. Another 35 seconds. Anybody wants to chip in? Yes.
We'll continue the Modi factor. There was an earlier number thing over there that that he comes and campaigns on the tough seats. I think after Karnataka Assembly, there's been a change of thinking that overexposure is not required. There is an established trust, but where he campaigns, you can see a clear conversion of the Modi factor.
The one person whose campaign made a lot of dhamaka with Appu Pappu Tappu, that we have not even spoken about. That is Yogi. The impact that Yogi's campaign, because he came late in and it was a huge cameo. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there you go. It's 8 a.m. Counting will get underway as the counting centers will be open. Counting begins on Result Day Live, Bihar 2025. Which way will the voter cast their mandate and give their mandate to? Will it be pro-incumbency, massive pro-incumbency vote for Sushasan Babu, Nitish Kumar, or will it be time for change, Badlav ki Sarkar and Tejashwi coming to the fore, emerging out of the shadows of Lalu Prasad Yadav? We'll have to wait and watch, but it's a big fight. It's two big Gathbandhans, the NDA and the MGB. The two national parties are going to play.
So we should have breaking saying counting has begun. Counting has begun, and again it will be the postal ballots for about the first half an hour or so, and then the EVMs are desealed. But counting has officially begun, ladies and gentlemen, for these 243 constituencies. Is it NDA? Is it India Alliance? Counting has officially begun. Let's have that breaking story.
The counting begins for the Bihar verdict. We've got the breaking up and it's a matter of time. The first 20 minutes to half an hour will be postal ballots, so you will see early leads, but those early leads are postal ballots. They'll be manually counted. It's when the EVM boxes open at the counting centers, that's when the results will start trickling in. Griha is ready at the live result hub. We'll go to her the moment we have the first set of leads coming in. Quickly going to Pallavi. How many counting centers and where will the focus be? Pallavi.
Well, I'm still right over here at the Sheikhpura house, and you know, the Prashant Kishore team is already in place. They are just going to wait for figures to start coming in, and as you pointed out, the postal ballot, in any case, is the first round to go. But you know, I would look at this election and the counting really, Anand, as a high stakes for everyone. But naturally, for the CM already, Nitish Kumar, many people would dismiss him off as being not in good health. At least his opponents did. I think the sense I get on the ground, of course, is that he's likely to do even better than before. That anger which people are talking about was certainly missing. It's not a wave election, you know. So in that sense, I think his campaign style has been very mellow, very mature and extremely stable. But at the same time being very assertive. For the BJP, of course, you know, they've thrown their top talents out all. That's the way they do
There must be something that you know that we don't, Pallavi, that you're still at Jansuraj party because and at Prashant Kishore, will he step out to say that the Jansuraj got a certain percentage of vote but no seats at all? He's not playing kingmaker. What way the results? The exit pollsters haven't given him the king.
No, they have not. They've in fact said that he'll get anywhere between 0 to 2 seats, which for someone who is making a splash, I think is quite subpar. But Griha is joining us from the live result hub. Where are we expecting the first leads to come from, Griha? Where are we expecting the first leads to come from, and by when?
Is that for me, Zaka?
Yeah, which region, which part of Bihar are you expecting the first leads to come from?
Okay, we will get that word in from Hemant ji here, because the result hub has started buzzing, because we have got to know that the postal ballots will be announced very, very soon. Hemant ji, सबसे पहले कहाँ से रुझान आने की उम्मीद है?
देखिए, सबसे पहले रुझान जो हम देख रहे हैं कि पटना से जब रिपोर्टर ने कॉल किया था कि वहाँ पे बोला कि हम पोस्टल बैलेट काउंट स्टार्ट करेंगे, वी विल स्टार्ट द पोस्टल, बट वी आर जस्ट वेटिंग. We have the two team is monitoring about the postal ballot. So we have made the two begin with either through SMS or a phone call. We'll get the first result. So if you get the phone call, the phone will buzz here.
How many counting
SMS,
centers have been set up this time?
So
there were 90,000 polling booths. Great, just asking how many counting centers?
I am thinking the 5-10 minutes.
Hemant ji, how many? 46 counting centers?
How many? 46 counting centers. Is the after 38 districts we have the 46 are the counting centers. We have deported 100 members in the counting center. Here we have the 50. Altogether, you can say the 150 members are there to give the right result.
So 150 members there, end-to-end data that will be collated and it will be fed here, and that's when you see it on the screen. So like Zaka, you were mentioning, it is not going to be fudging of numbers. We are not going to be trying to go first on this. The moment we see the first authentic leads come in from those counting centers, as our reporters call our representatives here at the live result hub, is when we see the numbers on
absolutely. 46 counting centers, viewers. 46 counting centers. The counting centers open at 8. Then they go in and then they will start counting the postal ballots. There are 150 of our members at these 46 counting centers who will be getting us these results. So the moment you see the leads starting to trickle in here, that means the leads have really started coming in, because that's where we are getting this live right from the source back into our live result hub and then across the network. Arun Dhanta is with us from the BJP office in Patna. Arun, are you the only person now, or have you done breakfast and are the Karyakartas already there? You're the first person at the BJP Karyalaya this morning.
Well, Anand, as counting gets underway here in the BJP office, preparations have also started. We are inside one of the tents which they have made, and in fact you can see right behind me, chairs have been placed and there is a screen also. In a few minutes from now, they will of course be starting this television screen, and you will see these chairs will be filled up. On that side also, dishes are being cleaned. by, as we were discussing earlier, that the people, will come here to really start preparing for the breakfast and the sweets also. I can also smell something is cooking on the other side. We'll give you that scene also, what is happening at the back of the BJP office. This is the place where you will see all the food is being cooked and mithais, etc. For all those people who will be coming here in a short while from now. You can see, I'll request my camera person Pramod Saklani to just go there and show what exactly is happening. Yes,
so
I mean they've started cooking, they've started, the preparations are done, food is being cooked here. So in a short while from now you will see क्या बना रहे हैं, क्या बन रहा है
सर? अभी तो चाय चल रहा है सुबह से, फिर नाश्ता में घुगनी, चूड़ा फ्राई।
अरे वाह जी, आज जिस तरह से जो भाजपा के लोग बाहर
चाय घुगनी चूड़ा
जीतने का जश्न के लिए तैयार है, तो आप लोग क्या कर रहे हैं?
हाँ सर, जीतने की तैयारी में लगे हैं। खाना मिठाई उठाई सब बन रहा है यहाँ तो, जगह अलग अलग बन रहा है, बहुत जगह से बन के भी आ रहा है मिठाई
जी। मिठाई बनाने का बोला गया है,
तो ज्यादा ऑर्डर है, कोई गिनती नहीं है मिठाई का कि कितना बनेगा, बहुत ज्यादा ही ऑर्डर है, हो चुका है मिठाई का।
So lots of orders, lots of cooking. Chai, gugni, chura, that's a traditional Bihar breakfast. On the one side there is pakode and samosa being made. There's a lot that's on store, and who will savor not just the food but also the sweet taste of victory, viewers. That's where we are going to focus on. Tejashwi has also spoken again. Let's listen in.
हम लोगों की जीत होने वाली है, बाहर चलिए हम लोग जीत रहे हैं। बहुत शुभकामनाएं आप लोगों को। बदलाव होगा, बदलाव होगा, बदलाव होने जा रहा है, बदलाव होने जा रहा है। चलिए सरकार बना रहे हैं।
चलिए हम लोग जीत रहे हैं, बदलाव होगा, बदलाव होगा, सरकार बना रहे हैं। टोनुआ थोड़ा ऑफ लग रहा है।
Is it?
नहीं, आपको नहीं लगा? You didn't feel the tone is a little off.
I think he's speaking from inside the car and too many mics.
No, the confidence level, the way you would, or you think, is this convincing? Is this the Tejashwi that we know?
I wouldn't read too much into it. It's early in the morning. He has campaigned for a month. He must be tired. So yeah, let's wait.
Why is it that suddenly everybody hedging their bets here?
As much his election, in the sense that this is the second time that he's going to be the face, the challenger, the one who wants to de-seat.
It's much more his election than Nitish Kumar.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I mean, in Nitish's case, it's probably his last election.
Yeah.
Whereas in Tejashwi's case, after this election, and if he doesn't win, a question is going to be asked. I mean, are you the face? Are you the one who is going to be the challenger to, dethrone?
Well, in a fabulous party that doesn't happen. Zaka, you look at life of Rahul Gandhi.
No, that's an exception.
No, I think in all political parties, you look at Akali Dal, you look at DMK,
First set of leads. NDA has 2 leads already. Griha, yes.
You have the first lead, Dhirendra Pratap Singh. This is from the Valmiki Nagar constituency, where this lead is coming in from JDU, the first lead.
All right, Valmiki Nagar is in the West Champaran district. It's up north. Again, these are places where there's a lot of migrant labor. So, yeah, there's a second one that's come.
BJP, Lorry.
Neighboring constituency, I think it's the BJP candidate. So 2 leads to the BJP so far. So 2 leads to the NDA so far, 1 to the JDU and 1 to the BJP, both from the West Champaran district. And remember, lots of migrant labor, lots of this again went to polls in the second phase where women outnumbered men quite a bit. So we'll see.
The migrant youth also in the past have favored the NDA over the RJD despite the issues that have been raised. You've called that out. There is one reason why there was silence when I asked ye Tonuwa thoda theek nahi lag raha hai. This is because the ghosts of 2015 continue to haunt.
Yes. No.
Look at Abhijit Majumdar. The ghosts of 2015 continue to haunt. Where in studios everybody called election at 9 a.m. and the results change at 11:30. That's what happened.
No, that was a different channel you're talking about. And let me tell you, I have a picture. In fact, I was on your Hindi channel in 2015. I was sitting, Badri Narayan was sitting next to me. And suddenly some other channel called it. And your anchor actually put a stop to it. He said, we are not doing anything like that. We're just waiting.
Yeah, we have more leads. I think we're about 5 or 6 leads now. Griha has more. Yes, Griha. Where?
All right, so we only see BJP and JDU right now, Zaka. Sapol, Bijendra Prasad Yadav from JDU, and there is Rajnagar, Sujit Kumar from BJP who's leading. As we speak, more and more leads are coming in, and it's all JDU, BJP that we see. Sujit Kumar, BJP, Sapol, it is, and now we have another RJD lead. This is the first one that's coming in for RJD. That's Saud Alam from Thakurganj, who is leading.
So not surprisingly, the first lead for RJD coming from the Simanchal region. This is, of course, like I said, again, a couple of other leads, one for the Congress. That's coming in again. All of this is in the Simanchal region, which, like I said, there is a higher proportion of Muslim population there. There was higher voter turnout as well. Last time, MIM was a big factor in Simanchal. He got 5 MLAs. All 5 of them switched over to the RJD. This time around, it seems like the Muslim vote is consolidating in favor of
the early trends also showing that the JDU is emerging, has taken a march, in terms of the single largest party as of now.